Right.
But he wouldn't demand $53 million a year either. So look, let's go right there. You brought it up. It's time to talk about it. Is it possible the 49ers would trade Brock Purdy this offseason? Let's say Mac Jones takes the team to the playoffs, wins a playoff game, shows the team that they don't need to spend $53 million a year, to have winning quarterback play for this team. There's teams that need quarterbacks. The Jets come to mind. If a team calls the Niners and said, look, you got a quarterback problem, we'll fix that problem for you. We will trade you 2 seconds for Brock Purdy and take that contract off your hands. Any world where that happens?
I think it's possible for 2 seconds. But they're so locked into Brock with his contract. I just don't think they're going to move him. I really don't. And, they have nothing but good things to say about Brock Purdy. Obviously, look, is he limited by some of his abilities? Yes. He doesn't have the strongest arm. He's not the biggest guy out there. But he does have the intangibles that a lot of quarterbacks who are really, really good don't have. And we've seen what he's done in the NFC title game, in the playoffs, where he balls out and he makes passes that you didn't even know he could make. So
and runs too. Like his scrambles are huge. Yeah, like those are things you don't get from Mac.
Now, last season he did run a lot more because I think that he had less weapons on offense. But see, that's something that he has to mature into. He can't be a guy where he's like, well, I don't have Ayuk, I don't have this guy. Fuck it, I'm going to run because I can't find anybody. The great quarterbacks, they win with no matter who the fuck is running the routes. You look at Tom Brady. I'm talking about Tom Brady here, but you look at Tom Brady. He never, besides Randy Moss that one year, he never had top flight receivers. He was just like, get to your spot. I'm going to throw you the ball. And that's what Brock needs to be.
And you look at Mac Jones this year. Like, I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady, but he's doing this without prime Ayuk, prime McCaffrey, prime Kittle, prime Debo. I mean, he's doing it with the backups, which is why his story is impressive, even if his numbers aren't off the charts.
But I mean, Mac Jones, I do agree with you by saying that when the Niners made that move and they drafted Trey Lance, a part of me thought, well, why are we getting an athletic running quarterback when that's not a quarterback that he's really ever had? And even when he had RG3, he preferred Kirk Cousins over RG3. Right. So it was like, why are we doing this for?
And when you hired him, like, weren't you trying to didn't you want that Atlanta Falcons offense? Like, isn't that what you were trying to hire?
And then you look at Mac Jones, and he kind of fits that bill. He's a pocket quarterback. He's got a strong arm. He's tall. He has
he can do a little bit of a Matt Ryan impression.
He can, but here's my thing though: is that this is what year 5 for Mac Jones? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is year 5 of Mac Jones. I'm looking at it right now. He got drafted in 21.
Yeah.
So this is his 5th year, and he played with the Patriots for 3 years and the Jags for 1 year. All of them were bad teams. Yeah. But imagine if we would have drafted him, if this was his rookie year, I think we'd be like, hey, this guy's going to be good. Like, I'm sold. But this is his 5th year.
Right.
So do I see a lot of good things from Mac Jones? Yeah. I'm like, hey, this is great. He's a tough guy. He plays through injury. That game in which he was writhing in pain and keeping himself out on the field is against the Rams, I want to say.
That win was one of the most impressive regular season wins I can remember from a Niners quarterback.
That was a locker room winning game where they were like, dude, we fucking love this guy. Like, this guy was out there suffering.
We should not have won this game.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantee we win it with Brock. Like, we just pulled a rabbit out of the freaking hat. And like, how did Mac do that?
Well, the defense played a huge part of that. And then the second half, they kind of started to fall apart. But that's the whole thing, though, is that, he's done things that has proven to the rest of the roster, like, hey, no matter what's going on, no matter how much pain I'm in, I'm not going to quit on you guys. And that's a great thing. Now, I'm not saying Brock is on the opposite, but Brock has been out. And believe me, I want to see Brock out there. I want to see Brock out there and winning games. But the longer he goes out, the harder it is to go back to Brock Purdy if Mac Jones keeps winning.
I got a point for you. So we're all in the dark about Brock Purdy's toe, right? We see him at practice. He looks okay, and we don't understand why he's not playing. You don't think the players feel that way? I mean, you really think Brock's going to every player locker for locker and being like, look, this is exactly what's going on with my toe right now. I know you have questions. So let me just answer any questions you have. And here's what it's like. I bet the coaches wonder, like, how much does that toe really, it's a toe. It's a fucking toe. Like how? And I'm sure it's excruciating, but I would bet that a lot of people wonder. And with Mac, you don't have to wonder. Like, is he in pain? Yeah, I'm sure he's in pain. He has like 8 injuries, but all I know is that he's on the field, throwing passes, winning games. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, no, you know, I don't think he's going around to hit to everybody, but I think like in any workplace environment, when you're working around a lot of different coworkers, because essentially that's what they are, they're coworkers to each other. You know, a handful of people know the truth, and then another handful of people know part of the truth, and then it keeps going and going and going until the players are like, yeah, I heard like his toe is like ready to fall off, and then another guy's saying, nah, man, I heard his toe is fine. He wants to be sure. He's got that, dude. He got that bag, so now he wants to be certain that he's not gonna hurt himself again. There's so many things running around, and that's how stories get all convoluted. But there needs to be an upfront. I mean, look, from the start, what did Kyle say? He said, it's a turf toe variant. Like, variant?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
What does that mean? And everybody, all the media, I think you were even there. You guys were like, what does that mean? Turf toe variant? Why can't you just say he has turf toe and he'll be out this many weeks? Just definitive.
I just feel like he wants to control the discourse. I think the Niners want to control the discourse. I think they do it better than most teams. And the way they're doing it now is like no content creator, no radio person can go on their show and say, this is definitively what's happening with Brock Purdy. And here's my opinion. We're all like, I don't know. Is he going to play this week? Maybe. So I can't really like come down with a strong take one way or another about this. I still have to wait and see how it plays out, which is, I think, what the 49ers want. They know what's going on. They don't want us to know what's going on.
I mean, you look at the Bengals right off the bat. He's got turf toe. He's going to be out 6 to 7 weeks.
What team is worse than the Bengals at controlling discourse?
Right,
everyone makes fun of the Bengals, and they know it, and they don't do anything about it. The Browns are like that. The Jets are like. The Niners are not like that.
They're not. And
they're not.
It's almost like, and it sounds very, very menacing, but it's almost like Kyle loves that. He's like, you know what? Don't tell them that. I'll let them know what I want them to know. What's wrong with Brock? It's a turf toe variant. So
think about this though. If Mac were hurt, if Mac sucked, and this team were losing, do you understand how much criticism Kyle Shanahan would be getting for bringing Brock back too early? It'd be all his fault. And people would point to that one decision as ruining the season. He'd be on the hot seat. Like, oh yeah, it'd be like rough. This. And right now, everyone's like, don't care. Brock, good luck. Take your time. We like Mac. Not only is he a good quarterback, but he is a swell guy. And he's a chill guy. Like,
great personality.
We like this guy.
He's funny as hell. But I mean, do you think there's a part of Kyle Shanahan deep down inside that is like, there's a part of him that's just kind of saying to himself, like, you know what? This is what I could have had back in 21.
This is what I wanted. And people told me I was wrong.
Even though he's like, hey, Brock,
I was wrong.
Brock, we want to get you back. I want to get Brock back. But then deep down inside, he's like, but I really want to see how he does against the Rams. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see how Mac does against the Cardinals.
Use like relationship metaphors. It just feels like Kyle discovered Mac. And like maybe like it's like they met at summer camp. And then he came back and tried to tell his friends, and they were like, "Nah, man, she's all wrong for you, man. She's from another. She goes to a different high school, and it's all wrong for you." And he like succumbed to the peer pressure. And Brock's great, Brock's great, but Brock's a stiff. And Brock and Kyle aren't necessarily on the same page all the time because Kyle's very controlling, and Brock goes off script. And it just seems like for whatever reason, Kyle and Mac have chemistry. They just get each other. They work well together.
There's definitely a difference between Brock Purdy and Mac Jones.
Yes.
Mac has this way about himself where he's funny. He's very just sort of
self-deprecating.
Yeah, he's very
take things too seriously.
He's very relatable. For the average fan, they can relate to Mac Jones, his personality. I mean, how many times have we seen him, at the press conference being like, I guess you could do that. He'll just start laughing, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Brock is much more composed. He's much more,
serious, straight-laced,
and so they're very different. But still, I think a part of Kyle is saying
a factor. We got to talk about the money. People don't want to talk about the money, but like in life it is. Like, it's easy to like Brock when he's the lowest paid player on the team.
Mr.
Even from a teammate perspective, oh, Brock, man, what a great kid. Wow, look what he's doing for $900K. Love him. And then he makes $53 million a year. It's easy to be like, who does he think he is all of a sudden? He's not playing. Like, maybe he didn't even change, right? But your perception did. It's easy to be resentful for the guy who's making 20 times more than you. And then someone else comes in the building making less than you, and he's like a jokester. It's like, you know what? That's my new best friend. Funny how that just happened.
I mean, it could be the case, but look, they're both different. I love Mac's personality. Like I say, he's very relatable. But I think at the end of the day, when Brock is healthy, they have to make a hard decision on, do we put him back in or do we roll with Mac Jones the rest of the season? And it's going to be hard to say, because for me, the later it goes into the season, the harder it is to say, okay,
yeah,
Mac, thank you for all your help. We're going to go with Brock. Brock's back. I mean, but at the same time, though, Mac has said all the right things. Mac even said, this is Brock's team. I'm the backup. I'm just here to win games. But still, you can say all the right things. But as a head coach, when do you say, okay,
if they're 9-4 at the bye week, if they're 9-4 at the bye week, why do you go to Brock?
Because
right?
You're paying him $53 million. He should be the difference maker. But isn't
right. But you're like, if you go back to him, you don't know what's going to happen. You could mess it up and it could look worse. And then you create a quarterback controversy. You can avoid all of that by saying that his toe still hurts. There is no, like, you're not forced to make the switch. And I feel like to your point, the longer this goes, the harder it is to make the switch. Like, what if Mac goes the rest of the season, they make the playoffs, and then Brock says he's healthy and he wants to start the playoff game? Do you go to Brock? Even though he hasn't played since week 4, and Mac got you to the playoffs? Like, no, you don't. No. It doesn't matter that you feel good. Sorry, it's been too long. We'll see you next year, maybe.
If you get to the playoffs and he's like, okay, I'm ready for week 1, the playoffs, wild card round or divisional round, I would have a hard time saying, okay, let's go. You haven't played in like 10 weeks, or even longer, but we're going to throw you in the most important game of the year. No, I don't. I think you have to go with Mac if he's gotten you there, because he already has a familiarity, the timing. He's put in the reps with the first team. To swap them out that late, to me, makes zero sense. 0 cents. You have to get you have to get Brock back no later, in my opinion, than the Carolina game.
So again, the question was, are the Niners going to trade Brock Purdy in the offseason? I think there's a legit chance if Mac keeps this up for a lot of reasons. 1, Mac was Kyle's first choice. He was his first love. 2, no one really wants to spend $53 million a year on a quarterback if you don't have to. 3, the Niners may not have to anymore if Mac Jones shows he can do the job. So if a team's interested and the Niners have another option, I could see them, offloading him to the Jets to get rid of that contract. I mean, it's not like the Yorks really want to spend that money if they don't have to. So I could see it happening. But it would take a team like the Jets to step up and offer something.
Right.
Yeah.
Real quick. Let me ask you one question. Do you think it's a better idea if you're going to bring Brock back? Let's say even Jed York is like, let's say you're Kyle Shanahan, right? Imagine Grant as Kyle Shanahan. Imagine if Jed's like, hey, I don't give a fuck how good you're playing. I want him back out there. We're paying him a whole bunch of money. He's got to prove this contract. Okay. Do you bring him back against Carolina at home on Monday night? Or do you bring him back after the bye week?
Cleveland? I'd wait until after the bye week.
Against
the
Tennessee.
Cleveland game is going to be tough. That's a good defense. It could be raining. And he lost to the freaking Browns 2 years ago when the Niners were stacked. So
they did. I mean, what's his name? Jake Moody helped out with that one. But
really, are you going to make a quarterback change in early December?
That's what I'm saying. That's really, really late. And like I said, I love Brock. I'm a Brock fan, but like in terms of the continuity with the team, it just seems really late to say, okay, now we're going back to Brock. Now, here's the question though. If this was, let's say, Josh Allen, if this was a
this is exactly what I wanted to say.
You'd probably say, hey, you got to get him back in there.
Maybe not. Look, here's what I'm saying. Look at Cincinnati. The same thing's happening in Cincinnati, okay? Same injury. Burrow is looked at as like so much better than Brock Purdy. But Burrow goes down, old-ass Flacco goes in there, and he's throwing for like 350 a game, man. He's throwing like 3 touchdowns a game. Now, their defense still sucks, but he's balling. And I think they're in the same position. Like Burrow at some point will come back, but if Flacco puts you in position to go to the playoffs and he's balling and you're winning, then even for Joe Burrow, I think you stick with the hot hand, as crazy as that sounds.
That's why I'm trying to.
I think that puts perspective on this situation. It's not just a Brock thing. It's not just a Brock thing. It's a football thing. If one guy takes you this far, there's really no reason to change. Even though like Brock's sexier than Mac, like Joe's sexy, like Burrow's sexier than Flacco. All right, well, we can always go back to you when we need you. But for right now, we're going to go with the non-sexy quarterback.
I like Alex's comment, trade Brock for Joe Burrow. Yeah, the Bengals would be like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do love Joe Burrow. I love his story, his whole career.
Really good. He's really good.
And you could argue that he's like a borderline Hall of Fame player in this. I mean, he doesn't have a Hall of Fame career, but was Eli Manning a better quarterback than Joe? Every time Joe gets an opportunity, a receiver, he kills it. And the one time he really got benched was for Lamar Jackson, which is like no shame in that. He's a great player. He's not as good as Lamar Jackson.
Eli Manning was, you put me in a clutch situation, I'm going to win.
Eli.
I don't care who I have. I'm going to win.
Flacco beat Tom Brady in the playoffs too. Am I wrong? Is this in the AFC Championship game?
He beat Colin Kaepernick in the playoffs.
Manning, anyway. Joe Flacco put some.
That was rough.
Bill Kennedy says, keep Mac, dumb Brock, build the O-line with savings. Thanks, Bill. Sean says, I played football up to the arena level. In my opinion, the reason the players are getting hurt more frequently is that they aren't conditioned to play. ACLs, MCLs, and Achilles injuries were not as prevalent 25 years ago. Interesting, Sean. Thank you. I've talked to a lot of players and coaches about this. My hypothesis is that they're actually over-conditioned, that some of these players, like Ricky Pearsall, work out 12 months a year. Maybe they take 2 weeks off. And instead of playing like pickleball one day or golf or tennis, they're just hyper training the same movements, the same sport in ways that they didn't 40 years ago. I bet Jerry Rice played a lot of tennis in the off season, but, or something. I don't think players do stuff like that as much anymore. And I think I think you see it in basketball too. Like why are guys blowing out their Achilles at 25? Well, they've been playing this sport year round since they were 9. I don't know. Saying, Sean, the game is also being played much differently. Also, the turf fucking sucks. Awestruck says the biggest quarterback controversy is Shanahan not drafting Mahomes. How much would the Niners get for Purdy? 2 seconds? Not a first. I don't think they get a first. Maybe late first?
I don't think it's a first. No, I
don't think it's a first.
I think 2 seconds, a second and a third. I just don't see a first because he wasn't a first-round pick. And that's what they're going to use against him is that, hey, this guy was Mr. Irrelevant. You want me to give him a first-round pick for him? Now you're going to get your
coming off an injury.
Pick? Yeah, no. I wouldn't. No.
Yeah. Double B Studio says, can't believe you're streaming with Eddie Pinero right now.
Woo!
He's a legend. Then he says, trade Purdy to the Rams for their medical staff.
Is it really the medical staff? I don't know. I mean, like Nick Bosa tore his ACL. Same with Michael Williams.
And again, like if you feel like you're rushing players back from injury, they're getting hurt in practice because practices are too aggressive. Is that because of the training staff or is that because of the coaching staff?
I don't know why they brought back Brock.
If a coaching staff said, hey, guys, we need Brock this week, they're going to say, all right, he's cleared. Most likely.
Yeah.
If you put it to him like that, Double B Studio says, or a fair quarterback competition, is it a risk for Kyle? It's a way to open up the discourse to chaos. If you want to control the discourse, you don't have a quarterback competition because then if there's a quarterback competition, people come to my channel every week and I tell them who's winning. You know what I'm saying?
They really would. They'd be like, this is what Grant's going to say. I hate his guts, but I want as he was going to say.
Who was better at practice today? I can't stand Grant, but I need to know.
He was there. He was there.
I mean, that's what was happening in 2022 and 2023. There was no discourse control. And it was a great time to be a content creator, but the Niners have sort of put the kibosh on that, saying
that's what Jimmy did. Jimmy helped them out with that. They're like, okay, we learned from Jimmy.
Yes. And I do think that Brock's sort of going the way of Jimmy. They're different quarterbacks, but what essentially sunk Jimmy as a starting quarterback in the league wasn't the picks. It was the injuries. Maybe it was both. He threw a hell of a lot of picks with the Raiders.
The overthrown ball in the Super Bowl. Just things like that.
things like that. Gajira Von Jinx says post June 1 trade is very doable. $8 million in dead cap, $32 million in dead cap before June 1st, according to Over the Cap. I think the Niners have shown that they don't really care about taking on dead cap hits. They did it a lot this year.
They don't.
Yeah, there's a big difference between dead cap and money, and this trade would save them cash. Josh Wyatt says, I wish this injury wasn't called turf toe. I've had the injury. It's excruciating and it refuses to heal. And I was just a guy trying to walk up some stairs. Brock won't be healthy this year.
Probably not.
Hope he's healthy at some point in his, career. Hope that Kyle and the Niners didn't mess that up. Because, he's messed up careers in the past. We all know. Hope he didn't do it again. John Chisari says the better Mac plays, the more trade value he has if Brock is the guy. Best case scenario for Niners, Mac balls out, keeps team winning games. Sure. Double B Studio says Kyle would have broke Mahomes. LOL. He can't develop. Okay.